Hey guys, Youngblood with you on Happy Citizen Con Day, where we actually had two new ship releases. The first one we're going to go ahead and talk about is going to be the Anvil Valkyrie, which is the new heavy dropship in the game. The Valkyrie is on sale for $330 War Bond, which comes with LTI, and if you're unfamiliar, War Bond means you're paying with new money, not using credits. And if you are interested in using some of your existing credits, it'll go for $375 and come with 6-month insurance. Now, there is a Liberator skin that's only going to be available through October 14th. It's basically kind of an orange and white theme that you can get if you buy in the next 4 days or so. As far as size goes, it's about 38 meters long, 28 meters wide, and 9.5 meters tall. Comes along with a max crew size of 5. You can carry a total of 20 soldiers, which do not count in the crew. There's 20 seats out in the back of the ship, as well as having the ability to actually bring a vehicle along up to about an Ursa rover in size. What's interesting is that the ship actually is listed as a small ship, whereas the Mercury, which is just a hair bigger, is listed as a medium ship. So I'm not sure if that's a typo or it just didn't hit that 40-meter classification. But it does have all medium components on board, which includes 4 medium fuel tanks, 2 medium power plants, 2 medium coolers, and 2 medium shield generators. Actually, as far as the thrusters are concerned, you get 12 fixed maneuvering thrusters, which is nice for maneuverability because they fire quickly. You get 2 large and 2 medium rotating VTOL thrusters that also act as your main thrusters, and 2 retro thrusters. Now, as far as weaponry is concerned, all of the specifics are kind of listed as TBD as far as what these gun types are going to be. However, what you end up having is 2 size 2 guns on the nose. They look to be Gatlings. You have 2 size 3 remote turrets on the rear wings, also looking to be Gatlings. You've got 2 man turrets with 2 size 2s on each, which also look to be Gatlings. And you have 1 size 1 manned door turret, which 1 is cool and 2 would most likely be a Gatling. So you kind of get the idea, right? Rapid fire, ability to put down cover, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the core of what the Valkyrie is. But what do we really think about it? Well, there's a lot that I think we'll need to see answered in the Q&A post to really help establish value. First off, the speed and durability are going to be important to understand. The video seems to make it look relatively fast, but it is also kind of a commercial. And a dropship should have at least average speed, but if durability isn't there, that's a concern. Now, I personally think it's going to be pretty tough, considering Anvil is known for slapping significant amount of armor on ships. And with 2 medium shield generators, it's going to have some resistance built in there as well. Also, being Anvil, though, I'm not really expecting much speed. Now, I personally love the idea of this thing having the rotating main thrusters that's also going to serve as VTOL as well. And with 2 medium and 2 large, this thing should be able to pick up and set down quickly and gracefully, as well as maneuver well to get into good positions for tough extractions or deployments. Now, they mentioned that this ends up blurring the line between gunship and dropship. And now we're kind of stuck looking at this ship as potentially the new version of the Redeemer. Here's where I think things start to differ a little bit, though. The Redeemer has a mix of laser weapons and cannons, where this thing mostly has Gatlings. And Gatling guns can be devastating, but they aren't a great option for sustained vehicle fights. I think this is going to be better suited to protecting the crew that you're dropping off against soft targets and vehicles, while the smaller and more agile Redeemer should be better for dealing with other ships. Now, the Redeemer could change 1,000 times to Sunday, and God knows when we're going to get any more information about the Redeemer, so it's really hard to say anything specific there. I think we're going to see this as more of a dedicated dropship with some gunship capability, with the Redeemer being more restricted to being a better gunship but falling short on the drop ability. Having the option to bring an armored vehicle like the Rover along and the Valkyrie can really be a force multiplier, as well as giving your troops on the ground a mobile base of operations, as well as something that they can end up using for protection. I like the idea of the Valkyrie being able to safely deploy troops and then sticking around and using the Gatling guns to help provide covering fire while soaking up damage and really serving as a nice distraction for your operators to be able to do their work, because if you've got this flying death machine flying above you, you can't necessarily focus on the person with an assault rifle in front of you. You've got a vehicle flying in the air that wants to murder you as well. There is also going to be the door gunner option for providing covering fire out of the same exit your soldiers are leaving, which is really pretty awesome. And if you decide to leave one around, now you have 2 man turrets, 2 remote turrets, you've got the guns on the front of the ship, and potentially somebody able to shoot out of the back of the ship, which makes it all pretty cool. Now, I think this ship has a lot going for it, but I do have some concerns about its proficiency against fighters. It does have decent turret coverage, but fighters are going to be a little bit harder to hit, especially with the limited range of ballistics. And the Gatlings typically run out of ammo quickly. Now, does this end up coming with, a laser Gatling gun? Or could you just swap out to that? Well, sure, that could happen too, and then you don't have the ammo capability issues. But it's just going to be a TBD thing there. I think this ship is still suited to having an escort fighter or two protecting it while it's kind of focusing more on protecting the troops, just so you don't have 20 lives, potentially 25, including the crew, that are going to be at risk while you're trying to accomplish your drop. So, who should buy the Valkyrie? Well, for those of you who wanted the Redeemer for the dropship capability and haven't already swapped to a Prowler or something else, I think the Valkyrie is a really great option, especially if you're concerned that CIG has forgotten about the contested Prowler, or contested Redeemer. If you want a way to stealthily drop your troops, I think the Prowler is a much better option. It's purpose-built for that, and the Anvil line is historically not known for having stealth traits on its ships like this. Not to mention the all-ballistic loadout, the medium components. The ship is likely going to have a very large signature. It's going to be a hot radar target that's better suited for getting into hot drop situations and doing damage while sticking around. Now, if you're wondering about this versus the Hercules, it really comes down to what you're wanting to do with the operations. If you don't need the tanks and you want to focus on troops and sustainability more, then I prefer the Valkyrie quite a bit more. Now, if you're thinking about this versus like the Retaliator with the dropship module, I think the Retaliator is better suited for long-range drops. Same thing with the Hoplite, for example. But with the Retaliator, you do have some turret coverage, so you can stick around for a little bit, but it's a big ship, it's a slow ship, you're not getting in and out quickly. I think it's more for those longer range engagements. The same thing goes for the Hoplite. Now, for those wanting this ship for cargo, it may end up having decent cargo capacity, but I don't know about the mag plates at this time to lock your cargo in place, and the ship matrix seems to be undecided, so it's not a great option for cargo until we hear otherwise. Now, outside of drops, it could provide a decent fighter screen utilizing the turrets and remote turrets protecting high-value fleet targets, but I don't think it's going to be a great option, and there's certainly ships that are better suited, like the Hammerhead. Now, it's a pretty purpose-built ship to get troops and a vehicle on the ground, and if that's what you want, I think it's going to be hard to top this ship. Now, as far as value and price, it's not bad, but at $330 on the low end, it's a pretty niche and roll ship, so you have to be sure that you want this type of role to fill a void in your fleet and that you have the money available to do that. The other perk here is that they've been working on this really hard and surprisingly behind the scenes in order to get this ready for release in 3.3, which should be live very, very soon, so you get the benefit of flying it basically right away. Personally, I don't plan to pick one of these up, but I don't really have a gap in this role. I prefer gunship over dropship and have others in the organization that are going to have this ship available. So for me, I'll take the Redeemer should it ever show up. And if not, the Hammerhead has me covered in that area as well. But stay tuned because as we get into the upcoming weeks, we're going to get more information about this ship and I'll cover that in a lot of details. If you guys have any questions on any of this, please let me know and I'll try and address those in the comments. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for a whole lot more coming soon and have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care.